Systemic racism, I think, has a huge impact on Black young people, on Black families, Black community, really on everyone. The serious function of racism is to distract. It keeps you explaining over and over and over your reason for being.
For a long time in this country, our history has been to negatively impact Black economic, political, and social power.
I don't think we can talk about mental health, the mental health of Black youth, without talking about systemic racism. I think about both the direct and indirect impacts it has on Black youth. And the indirect impacts is kind of those environmental factors. Not having safe space, not having representation, policies that are harmful, right? That we may not even know what they look like on paper, but then when we put them into practice, there's consequences, right? You know, we cannot have white systems and white-bodied individuals telling us what our mental health and well-being should look like and could look like or does look like. That we need to tell that story, and I think that's been a huge lesson in this process as well.
I was introduced to the Reimagine initiative this past summer. Hearing how they talked about the initiative, what it was, it resonated completely. Like, I'm from Brooklyn Park, and so more than anything, I just appreciate the public health approach and that it's mental health, but it's way more well-rounded and considering not only just the child and their mental health, but also the health of our community and ultimately improving systems for everyone.
I think both personally, but from a research perspective, it's refreshing to see youth voices centered and respected. There's a lot of research on Black people that is very extractive and disingenuous to some extent. So it's really refreshing to be welcomed into a space that is so intentional about how they operate.
So I think of us as like the canvas and the easel, but the students, the youth, are like the painters. It's their vision. We're just helping to support and sustain it. And when we talk about reimagining Black youth mental health, we're talking about shifting this narrative from illness, right, to really talking about well-being and shifting into that, which is huge.
What brings me joy is just in our community and with young people, letting them know that they are the author of their own story, that no one else gets to write your story, you are your own author. And that brings me so much joy to share that with young people every day.
You're gonna turn up and have fun. You guys bring the energy, and we'll explain that during opening session, but you guys are the hype, you are the energy, you are the fun. So what you put in is what you're gonna get out.
The goal of the initiative is really to shift the narrative around Black youth mental health, strengthen the ecosystem of support for Black youth and their well-being, and to change the conditions that are making Black youth unwell. The way we carry this out is with 3 key values around being youth-led, Black-centered, and community-driven. With this initiative, we really wanted to reimagine, what the focus is on and create space for our understanding of our own joy, of our own culture, of our own inherent goodness to prompt funding. What are the things that make us well? What are the things that we know, are strong within ourselves and in our culture and within our history that can really inform the priority around what policy change needs in order to support young people and really tapping into their health and well-being, especially mentally.
From the beginning of this initiative, we've had alignment, if you will. As an organization, the Alliance has always been an asset-based, youth-centered organization. And doing the work to become race-centered, oppression-focused as well, I think has given us a place to really be a home for this work in a good way, not to own it, but to be in partnership with this work.
It's when they're not a number on a piece of paper. It's when it's like they're an individual, they're a person. And that was something, that we were very intentional about. The initiative would not be where it's at now had we not been intentional about this process and the investment. The Black youth saw our investment in them, and now they're investing on us and believing that what we are doing is going to be impactful.
And I think that's important, that in this work, we have centered youth. The words are coming from them. There is less room from presumptions from adults. There's not a lot of spaces where youth can get together, convene in a non-programmed manner. Letting them make that decision of what they want it to look like, I think that really matters to how they frame their own wellness and joy.
B-L-A-C-K power. B-L-A-C-K power. B-L-A-C-K power. B-L-A-C-K power. Young Black, yeah, and I'm proud, yeah.
Start with affirming Black kids. Start with really understanding how the spaces where they show up, how it contributes to harming their mental health, and then making a stance on cultivating conversations, policies, changes that can really help attribute to the joy of Black children.
We can do this for us because it's ours, because we're deserving of it, because it's well and it's working. There's a piece of this work where we're not trying to get people's approval or, get people to love or accept that we're doing this. It's for us and it's by us. It's community driven, it's youth led, it's centered in Blackness and Black people and Black cultures, and that's good, period.